Friends, last week, the news cycle took us on a trip back in time, specifically to a time when America thought, you know what would be a great idea? Putting criminals on a desolate island. No, not Jeffrey Epstein's private island. I'm talking about Alcatraz. President Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has floated the idea of reopening Alcatraz as a federal prison. That's right, folks. The most famous abandoned prison in America might be making a comeback. Now you might be asking yourself, why Alcatraz? Haven't we learned our lesson about putting all our bad eggs in one easily escapable basket? Well, according to some reports, the administration is concerned about overcrowding in federal prisons and the potential influx of, well, let's just say people who might try to illegally cross a border or two, because nothing says deterrent like sending someone to a tourist destination. It's like trying to discourage jaywalking by forcing offenders to attend a Broadway show. The president has reportedly instructed various government agencies, including the Bureau of Prisons, to look into it. Because nothing screams well-thought-out policy proposal like, hey, you guys figure this out. It's like asking your intern to plan the office Christmas party while simultaneously demanding they solve world hunger. Look, I get it, prisons are overcrowded, the justice system is a mess. But reopening Alcatraz? That's not a solution, it's a punchline. It's like trying to fix your leaky faucet with duct tape and a prayer. It might hold for a little bit, but eventually it's going to explode in your face. Alcatraz, for those of you who haven't seen The Rock, and if you haven't, what are you doing with your life, was once America's most notorious prison. From 1934 to 1963, it housed some of the most infamous criminals in American history, Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and the Birdman of Alcatraz, who, spoiler alert, collected and cared for birds, not actually become one. For nearly 3 decades, Alcatraz was the ultimate symbol of American justice, or at least the kind of justice you get when you run out of land and decide to stick your worst offenders on an island in the middle of a freezing cold bay. It was a place of isolation, brutality, and despair. Escape was considered impossible, well, almost impossible. There was that one time in 1962, but we'll get to that later. But times change. Eventually, even the most hardened criminals get tired of the same old routine. Bread and water for breakfast, solitary confinement for lunch, shivving for dinner. Okay, maybe not that last part. But the point is, Alcatraz was expensive to run, and by the 1960s it was clear that the island prison had outlived its usefulness, so they shut it down. The prisoners were shipped off to other, less iconic prisons, and Alcatraz was left to the elements and the tourists. Today, Alcatraz is a national park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a must-see destination for anyone visiting San Francisco. People from all over the world flock to the Rock to learn about its history, take a selfie in a jail cell, and maybe, just maybe, feel a shiver down their spine as they imagine what it must have been like to be imprisoned in such a desolate place. It's a place of history, of reflection, and dare I say it, of hope. Reopening it as a prison? Well, that just seems wrong. Reopening Alcatraz isn't just morally questionable, it's fiscally irresponsible. Even back in the 1950s, when a loaf of bread cost a nickel and you could buy a house for the price of a new car, it was estimated that it would cost millions of dollars to renovate and maintain Alcatraz. Today, with inflation and the rising cost of, well, everything, that figure would be astronomical. We're talking billions, folks. And that's just the renovation costs. We haven't even talked about the day-to-day expenses of running a maximum security prison on an island. Think about it. Food, water, electricity, staff, security, all of it would have to be shipped in by boat. Every single day. It's like trying to run a 5-star hotel in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Sure, it sounds glamorous at first, but the logistics are a nightmare. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Prisons already has a $2 billion backlog in repairs for its existing facilities. $2 billion! That's enough money to buy every single person in Wyoming a lifetime supply of beef jerky. And we're talking about spending even more money to reopen a prison that's been closed for over half a century. It's like throwing good money after bad, or in this case, throwing taxpayer money into the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay. Let's be honest, folks. Reopening Alcatraz is not about practicality. It's not about saving money or reducing overcrowding in prisons. It's about optics. It's about sending a message. And that message is, We're so tough on crime, we'll even bring back a prison that's colder than a polar bear's nose. Even Nancy Pelosi, a woman who, let's face it, has probably seen it all in Washington, called the idea ridiculous. And coming from Nancy Pelosi, that's saying something. It's like your grandma telling you your new haircut makes you look like a sheepdog. You know it's bad. The logistical challenges alone are enough to make this idea DOA. Remember that whole island in the middle of a bay thing? Yeah, that's not exactly conducive to, well, anything. Imagine trying to get to work every day if your commute involved a ferry ride, a cable car, and a prayer. That's life on Alcatraz. And then there's the small matter of living in San Francisco. It's expensive, like, really expensive. Like, I just spent $12 on a cup of coffee and all I got was a weird look from the barista. Expensive. Good luck attracting qualified prison staff when they can barely afford to rent a shoebox in Oakland. Look, I'm not saying that the American justice system doesn't need a serious overhaul, it does. But reopening Alcatraz, that's not a solution. It's a distraction. It's a shiny object designed to divert our attention from the real problems facing this country. It's time for our leaders to stop living in the past and start focusing on the future. And that future should not involve sending people to a crumbling prison on an island, unless of course they're tourists.